Hi, I'm Dawn from ParkinsonsandUs.com. Welcome. Today I want to talk to you about essential oils and how I use them to reduce caregiver stress. Now, they're not the be-all end-all. They actually are not regulated by the FDA, so they're not approved to prevent, treat, or cure disease. However, there is research being done on essential oils to kind of help complement things like pain or nausea, and there's always ongoing research in that regard. And I really like to use them in my home to reduce stress, not just for me as a caregiver, but also for my guy with Parkinson's. It seems to help him too, just kind of having it in, kind of diffusing around the house. Before I talk about essential oils, I want to talk a little bit about caregiver stress. Caregiver stress is different than acute stress. Acute stress is something that happens like quickly, promptly. An example of that would be like a car accident, God forbid. Caregiver stress is more chronic. It's long-term and it's more like an underlying hum. Stress in and of itself is not necessarily bad. Some stress can actually be good. Caregiver stress, because it's chronic, can, if we allow it to kind of get to us and get to our health, long-term wise, it could start to have damaging effects on our health. I want to share with you a few statistics that I read and looked up about caregiver stress. There are 53 million unpaid caregivers in the United States. And according to the National Alliance for Caregiving and the AARP, nearly 1 in 5 Americans are providing unpaid care to an adult with health or functional needs. And 21% of these caregivers report their own health to be fair to poor. Nearly 4 in 10 caregivers of adult age 50 plus consider their caregiving situation stressful. Clearly, caregiver stress is real. There are so many things we can do to help us and to kind of help manage our stress. And using essential oils is just, I say, like one tool in the toolbox. It's definitely not the biggest tool. I would say, sleep and nutrition and physical activity, all of that is very important. But essential oils is something that's nice to have, it's nice to use, and you can kind of mix it up with all the different smells and different aromas. And you can use essential oils in a variety of different ways, which we're going to talk about today. So let's talk about aromatherapy and essential oils. Basically, what aromatherapy is the use of essential oils for therapeutic purposes. What happens is when you diffuse an oil, it basically, the receptors in your nose take it to the limbic system in your brain, which is the part of the brain that controls emotion. So that's why there's research being done on aromatherapy for like nausea, vomiting, pain, headaches, that kind of thing. And a lot of people claim that they do benefit from it. So there are a lot of different ways to use essential oils. Now, I am not the expert. I'm just telling you what I like to do today. But there are a lot of different ways. You can do, basically, the simplest method is you can just do it by inhalation. You take an essential oil that you like, that smells good to you, and you basically just put it up to your nose and you take a couple deep breaths through your nose. I didn't even look at this one, but this one's nutmeg. I like it. So that, through inhalation, that is the basic, simplest way. Now you can combine essential oils. Like you could take, I'm not gonna do nutmeg because that's a little more wintry, but you could take something like, let's say I have vetiver and let me just say maybe orange. I think I have orange here, orange bergamot. Yeah, this is a sweet orange and a vetiver. And you can do like 2 or 3 and basically just open them up. And you put them together I like to do 2 and 3. Put them together and then smell them. Oh, it smells so good. So you can use a combination of essential oils, and you can just kind of play with it. Really just let your nose be the guide. To get you started, I actually have a wellness e-guide. It's a free e-guide, and in that guide I provided several essential oil blend recipes, things for calming, things for anxiety, things for stress. I'll link that in the description below, because that might be a nice place for you to get started on kind of combinations. So that is the first way, just basic inhalation. The other way that I like to use it, and this is probably my most favorite way, is through a diffuser. Basically all a diffuser is a reservoir of water, and you fill the reservoir up with water, and then you just put in, maybe, it depends, if you're using a combination of essential oils, you can do like 2 or 3 drops of a few different essential oils, or if you just want one particular essential oil, you can do up to maybe like 10 drops. You don't need a lot of essential oils whenever you're using them. It's usually only a few drops, up to about 10 or 12 drops. But basically you put the oil in the reservoir with the water, you turn it on, and it kind of creates this mist and goes into the air in your room. And I actually, in this house, I have about 3 or 4 diffusers in different rooms, and I'll show you those. Okay, so this is probably my favorite diffuser. I just really like the way it looks. I like the shape of it. But you can find diffusers in all shapes and sizes and all price ranges. And I will link the description below of where I got this one. But again, you can find them, you know, pretty much anywhere. So this is basically a diffuser, and like I said, what you do, this is just the decorative part of it, but what you do is you fill this reservoir here with water, and it's just a small little reservoir. So you fill it with water, and there's a line where it tells you to stop. And then you just add your essential oils, depending on what you like, what smells good to you. So I think I'm gonna do this lemon. And I just did about 6 drops. And I think I'm going to try I think I'll do patchouli. Let me smell. I'll do 5 drops of that. Now some oils are a little more viscous than others. As you can see, this is taking a little longer. The drops are a little thicker. So just know that. And then others are a little more liquidy and they can come out quick. So just be careful. And then I think that's enough. I think I'm just going to do the 2. And then you just put on the top of the reservoir. You're good to go. And then you just plug it in. There are some, I think, that you can get batteries, but then you just plug it in. And here there's a couple different buttons on this one. There's actually a light, so this lights up kind of like a night light. And then there's another button where it can go continuous, so you can have it just running continuous. It'll emit a continuous mist. Or you can do it like an intermittent, where it will kind of go for 5 seconds and then shut down for like 10 seconds or whatever, but it just kind of goes up and then goes down. And I usually like to keep it on that. And then I just let this run for an hour or so, and it will just kind of smell up the room that it's in. This one actually is in our living room. So we talked about inhalation and we talked about diffusers. Another way is through body lotions and oils. Now that is probably my 3rd favorite. A lot of my lotions that I use, I put essential oils in. And again, it's just according to what smells good to you, what mood you're going for. If you want to kind of feel more energized and energetic, you'll use a different oil versus if you want to feel kind of calm and relaxed. So you just kind of got to play with it. Another way to use essential oils is through accessories. There are companies who will have like bracelets or necklaces or car fresheners, all with the smell or all with essential oils, again according to what sounds good to you. I actually like to use essential oils in my car. I will take a cotton ball or maybe a little piece of a rag, and I will pick my essential oil, whatever I'm feeling like that week or whatever, and I will just put several drops on that cotton ball or on that little piece of a rag, and I will just stick it under my car seat or under the back seats. And that will emit a nice fragrance in your car without having those car fresheners that can be very overpowering and have a lot of like toxic chemicals to their fragrance. One thing I have to say, and I'm sure not everyone agrees with me on this, but again, I am not the expert, but I would not recommend consuming essential oils, like ingesting them. Like I said, they're not regulated. If you do decide to do that, I would highly recommend working with like an herbalist or a naturopath or someone who is an expert in that kind of alternative medicine. Me personally, I do not ingest my essential oils. The quality, depending on where you buy it from, is all very different. And again, I just think it's a little risky, but that is my opinion. So when it comes to essential oils and caregiver stress, let me share with you a few of the essential oils that I like, that work for me. But again, this is something that you are gonna have to play with and just kind of experiment and see what works for you, because everyone's body is different, everyone's nose is different, everyone's limbic system is different, everyone's brain is different. So you just kind of gotta see what really resonates with you when you're doing your tests. I really like, well, lavender, of course. Definitely a calming oil, although it's actually not my favorite. I like a little more woodsy, musky essential oils. I like cedarwood. I like frankincense. Frankincense has a bit of a smoky, woodsy smell to it. Bergamot, that's probably one of my favorites. That is a little more citrusy. It has a little bit of a lighter smell to it, but you can kind of complement it with a more woodsy essential oil, and the combination is just really lovely. Also, there is peppermint, which is a minty kind of a sweet essential oil. And for some people, they do find it relaxing, and then for other people, they do find it invigorating. So you just gotta play with it. I never use it like straight. I'll always use it. I'll usually have like a base essential oil, like when I'm putting something through a diffuser. I'll have a base, and that'll have like the most drops of essential oil. And then I'll have a mid-tone, which will have a lesser amount of drops, and then I'll have the lightest, that's where I'll use peppermint. I'll usually do like 1 or 2 drops just to give it a little bit of brightness. So I like to use peppermint, but it's not like, it doesn't work for everyone. I also like any of the citrus essential oils are really lovely, and they're really bright and fragrant, and for me, I find them calming. So when it comes to purchasing your essential oils, it's really important to look for quality. There's a lot of them out on the market, and some are better than others. This whole essential oil aromatherapy is not regulated. It's really important to find quality essential oils that do not have a lot of toxins and chemicals in, and looking for reputable companies. So here are a few things that I look for. Essential oils are highly concentrated, like we talked about. You only need 2 or 3 drops. Because it's so highly concentrated, they can actually break down a plastic bottle, which then in turn will contaminate your essential oil. So always look for an essential oil that's in a dark glass container, and it can be either this dark amber color or sometimes you'll see a dark blue color, but always look for a dark glass container. The other thing is to look to make sure that it's 100% that essential oil, nothing else. Some fragrant oils will put a bit of essential oil in them, but then they'll have a lot of toxic chemical fragrances to kind of blend it out. They'll call that an essential oil, or they'll call that a fragrant oil. And those are not nearly as healthy as pure essential oils. So always look for one that is just 100% pure. What it says on the label is what it should be, nothing more. A quality essential oil will contain the Latin name of the plant, along with the purity information, the part of the plant that the oil was extracted from, and the country where the plant was grown. As you can see, it's a lot different than just, calming, stress relieving oil. It'll really be specific. And then the other thing is pricing. Quality essential oils are, I don't want to say they're expensive, although some can be quite pricey, but they're not necessarily cheap. And then there are some essential oils that are more expensive than others, like rose or sandalwood. Those are a little bit more expensive due to the extraction method. Not that you want to pay a ton for your essential oils, but just kind of pay attention. That is kind of another indicator. So I hope you found this video helpful. Stress is real. It's not easy being a caregiver, and stress in this world right now is present for everyone. So to be mindful of your stress, to take measures to reduce your stress is very important for your health. I talk often about like eating healthy and physical activity as ways to reduce our caregiver stress or to take care of our health. And absolutely, those are very important, but there's a lot of different things we can do. And for me, I find essential oils are very calming, very relaxing, and they're kind of like a fun little hobby to play with and kind of get to know the different smells, the different plants, the different methods of extract. It's all kind of fun. And again, I'm not the expert, but for me, it really does help kind of reduce my caregiver stress. I put it on in the evenings. My guy with Parkinson's really likes it. His sense of smell is not as strong as it used to be. But there are certain essential oils that he can smell better than others. And it's nice. It's nice to kind of get to know what works for him, what works for us. And it's nice to just kind of have that in the house. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will give essential oils a try. And if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up or maybe comment down below. And if you want to follow me and us on the Parkinson's and Us community, I would love that too. This community is just filled with lots of support for caregivers, and I provide nourishing recipes. I do a blog post and a video every week with tips and healthy ideas and recipes, all in the effort to keep caregivers healthy. So try your essential oils, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.